J.D. Vance just gave a speech here at the Munich Security Conference, and it was wild. It was almost like some kind of a declaration of political and cultural war on Europe.
In Washington, there is a new sheriff in town, and under Donald Trump's leadership, we may disagree with your views, but we will fight to defend your right to offer it in the public square, agree or disagree.
And everyone here who comes into this lounge that's just a little bit away from the main stage, well, everyone's been talking about it. Okay, so here's what happened. Everyone expected J.D. Vance to come and talk here about the Trump administration's attempts to end the war in Ukraine. And Europe is kind of worried about this. Is Donald Trump going to do some stitch-up deal with Vladimir Putin that hurts Ukraine and leaves Europe weaker? But as it turned out, he barely even mentioned the war, and instead he went into this full-throated attack on European democracy.
The threat that I worry the most about vis-a-vis Europe is not Russia, it's not China, it's not any other external actor. And what I worry about is the threat from within, the retreat of Europe from some of its most fundamental values, values shared with the United States of America. In Britain and across Europe, free speech, I fear, is in retreat.
I mean, this was super unusual. You just don't get US vice presidents kind of wading into political debates in other countries. That's just not the way it usually goes. And especially because in just over a week from now, here in Germany, there's going to be an election. And the far-right AfD, which has been endorsed explicitly by Elon Musk, well, they're running second in the polls. J.D. Vance said that migration is the big problem that Europe needs to solve, and kind of said that Europe's internal problems over things like that make the war in Ukraine almost pale in comparison.
I believe there is nothing more urgent than mass migration.
What was really striking was that immediately after J.D. Vance's speech, which kind of left the audience pretty stunned, then you had Wang Yi, the Chinese foreign minister, taking to the stage and delivering a speech where he kind of made it sound like, I'm the grown-up in the room, China's the country that you can depend on, and making people afterwards wonder, my goodness, what's up with the transatlantic relationship? Do Europe and the US really have so much in common anymore? And it's funny because 20 years ago, a writer came out with this book called America is from Mars, Europe is from Venus, about the gulf in the transatlantic relationship back then. Well, right now it feels way more than that. It feels like America's the sun and Europe is something like Pluto, like very, very, very tiny, very, very, very cold, and very, very far away.